Good morning, Brownsville. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you are watching this feed. If this is your first time here, welcome. Make sure you follow our Facebook page. You could also watch this feed live on YouTube. Make sure you go and create a YouTube account and subscribe to our page, Frankie Olivo. Um, you can also contribute to the page by liking, commenting, and sharing this feed right here. People are able to subscribe to our Facebook Frankie Olivo page. They get access to exclusive merchandise, OnlyFans content, and feet pics. And also, you could send me stars. Um, Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Today seems as if it's going to be a busy day, especially for the different campaigns that are out there. Um, it's important for us to support our candidates, to support or oppose the venue, and even be critical of the incorporation of Starbase. Um, Very, very important issues that ultimately we will see how things play out and how our daily lives will be affected. Um, Today, we'll be talking about day two of early voting. Did the numbers go up? Did they go down? Is there voter apathy in the city of Brownsville? All that, and more. Once again, happy Thursday. It is April 24th. Let's get started. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, this is the best podcast in the world. Early voting. Early voting is a time where campaigns are won or lost. Anyone that has been part of a campaign could tell you this is the nitty gritty. This is what people have been working for the past 9+ months, because whatever the candidates, whatever the campaigns do during early voting, ultimately will decide if they're victorious or not. They are three races for the city of Brownsville, which I anticipate all of them going into a runoff. Will there be that candidate that surpasses expectations and wins the election, their election outright? The last time we saw this was with Mayor Cowan back in 2022, 23, when he was victorious without a runoff. He received 50% plus one vote to avoid. But nonetheless, are we going to see a runoff? Are these candidates going to have to spend $10, $15, $20,000 more on their campaigns? There is chatter that there is a candidate out there that is already $60,000 deep in this campaign. That's not including a runoff. A runoff is scary because anything could happen. We have seen how previously the one that sticks that comes to mind, the very important ones, is our district attorney, Luis Sáenz, when he ran against Carlos Mazo. We saw how Carlos Mazo, during the primaries, was strong. He had good numbers. But what happened? In the runoff, Luis Sáenz was able to beat Mr. Carlos Mazo. Who can forget 4 years ago, the previous administration at the Cameron County Sheriff's Department? Omar Lucio. Omar Lucio was a career politician, someone that served decades for Cameron County. He was defeated by Cantu, Conrado Cantu. But shortly after Conrado Cantu's tenure, Omar Lucio came back and he was very dominant until Eric Garza challenged him. And who can forget that race? Remember? Eric Garza was a sitting district clerk who was making 80, 90,000 a year, ended up running against Omar Lucio, and people were dumbfounded. What? You have a great job, a cushy job, and you're gonna risk it going up against an incumbent, a strong incumbent, a powerhouse, an individual that all of Cameron County knows, who is favored to win in a landslide? What happened? In the primaries, Omar Lucio came out strong. But Eric Garza ended up winning the runoff. So these races are very tricky because we have seen before how people usually come out for the primaries, but for the runoffs, it's difficult. It's difficult to get people to come out to vote. Very difficult. Unless you are an Erasmo Castro, unless you are Carlos Cascos, an individual that people will come out to vote, a Michael Rodriguez, that usually don't come out to vote, but just because that person is on the ballot, they go. That's very powerful. So these elections during early voting is very, very important. Anything, if this goes into a runoff, hey man, anything could happen. And that's the scary part. You could spend X amount of dollars to be competitive, it's at least 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 grand. Easy in a runoff for these races. Easy. So during this time is where we start to see if candidates change up their strategy if they get into a runoff. Just because they come up in the lead in the primaries, well, I'm saying primaries because of the general election in November, but this is kind of similar. If there's a candidate that doesn't receive the 50% plus one vote, they must go to a runoff. So again, is it hard for candidates to get people out to vote? Yes, extremely hard. People usually only go, and I would say, dare say maybe 60% of people. No, let's say 40 to 50% of the people. No, it's more. 50, 60% of the people go out to vote only during presidential campaigns in November. They don't go to midterms. They don't go to municipal elections in April, May. But what we know with certainty is there's voter apathy. Just because a candidate comes up number one or leads in percentage and goes into a runoff, they should be worried. They should be very worried. Again, we saw Luis Science, who was down in the general election, ended up beating Carlos Mazo in a runoff. We saw Eric Garza, who was down in the primaries, but came out and defeated a strong incumbent. I love studying. I love studying races. I try my best to listen to different campaigns and ask about how has the campaign been? What are they doing? Is it the typical van list, going door to door, phone banking, advertising digitally? Are they hosting events? Are they involved in the community? So I always try to ask questions. I really don't get too deep into it, right? Because I want to see it from the outside. And then once they're in the runoff, it's even more entertaining. And maybe because I'm a nerd, or we have those individuals that, man, like to Erasmo and I, election day was like the Super Bowl for us. It was like, man, hey, let's go live. Let's report the results as they come in. It's like our Super Bowl for nerds, for the politicos. This is what they work hard for. Again, thousands and thousands of dollars are being invested. Some of their own money, some from campaign money. But these campaigns ultimately affect the candidates. If they win, pues it affects them greatly. If they lose, it's a big setback. Running a campaign is very difficult. I was fortunate enough to run for BISD, and that honestly was the proudest, the most happiest time of my life. I'm very weird. I'm a person that I love stress. I love feeling, oh, like I need to be better. I need to work better. Maybe I haven't done something. Maybe I need to do more. I love competition. To me, competition is the best. Why? Because me personally, it makes me work a lot harder, and it makes me want to push myself to be the very best. Um, but it's important for us to recognize that campaigns are won and lost during early voting. Many people will see how the decisions of a few amount of voters will ultimately affect the greater good of the city of Brownsville. So today we'll be talking about the numbers, day two, what to expect. Are the voters coming out? Are we doing a better job of having uh, the candidates? Maybe some voters either don't care or they don't have enough information in regards to the candidates. But that's something that we want to talk about today. Early voting, day two, numbers. It's crunch time. Right now, the candidates are still working around the clock. They are working tirelessly to make sure that they get their people out to vote. They're working the phones or text messaging. Some are even still block walking and asking, hey, have you voted? Make sure you go out and vote. They're trying to do everything possible. What's the phrase? You turn every stone, left no stone unturned, right? Because every vote counts. We saw how Marisa Leal Minerva Peña race was overturned. Based on 11 votes, and then when they did the recount, it turned up that it was a few votes in favor of the other opponent. It took 4 years, but ultimately she was sworn in. Again, very, very interesting. Sorry, still undecided on two candidates. Elizabeth, if you could let me know which two candidates. And again, make sure you make plans to vote. It's very, very important. Make sure you have a plan. I'm going Friday or Saturday. I'm gonna take 2 or 3 people with me. And it's not just Brownsville elections. Remember, if you live anywhere in Cameron County, you better vote. You have something on your ballot. It may not be the city races, but you do have a responsibility to vote. District 4 at large B. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the candidates. We'll talk about the races just to see how you feel about the candidates. Good morning, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for tuning in. Good morning, Mr. Garcia. Saludos. I hope you have a good day. Good morning, Mr. Moody. Good luck to each and every one of you on your campaigns. It's the nitty gritty. Tuesday. I'm sorry. May the 3rd. May the 3rd will get here very, very quickly. Starbase is on the ballot. It's funny. It's funny because individuals in the majority here in the city of Brownsville will not be able to vote for the incorporation of Starbase. It is estimated that anywhere from 200 to 400 residents of Boca Chica Village are the only ones that are able to vote. We did talk previously about them having a mayor and 2 commissioners to be part of their governing body. Those candidates are SpaceX employees. We have, if we could remember about the initial agreement between SpaceX and Starbase, I'm sorry, SpaceX and Cameron County. Cameron County asked for a number of items. They asked SpaceX to invest $85 million. They asked to create jobs. They asked to make Brownsville their home. They were to abide by several guidelines in regards to the closure of our beaches. And back when Elon Musk and Governor Perry and Congressman Vela, when they met, Elon Musk was saying, I'll do whatever you want. The hardest thing, and they teach us this in sales, the hardest thing is getting your foot in the door. That's what every salesman says. Man, just let me in. Just give me 5 minutes of your time. And I'm positive that I can educate you and convince you that this is better than this. Every great salesman says that. Every poker player says, hey, I just need a chip and a chair. I just need an opportunity and let me work. Elon Musk had it easy. 85 million to the world's richest man in one of the poorest areas geographically. I think I could even argue and say one of the least educated areas in our area. And we have seen how he invested $3 billion. SpaceX is known to the world. Brownsville is on the map now because of SpaceX. Well, now Elon Musk not only has his foot in the door, he's taking the whole kitchen sink with him. Starbase is set to be incorporated and will no longer be part of Brownsville. How will that affect Brownsville? We're talking about how our school district will be affected severely. The charter schools and SpaceX is creating Ad Astra, a school, and they're going to invest $20 million. Who do we think is going to go to those institutions, those schools? The best of the best here in Brownsville. You think parents want to send their kids to BISD, or you think they want to send them to Elon Musk? I'm sure there's going to be guidelines and restrictions, and possibly like St. Joe, you're going to have to apply in order for us to accept you. But at the end of the day, we could already visualize that happening, right? So Elon Musk is a genius. He saw a poor area and said, oh, this is mine for the taking. Also, very interesting, Cameron County is losing its grip on Elon Musk. We saw how Austin, Senator Hinojosa, Representative Lopez, introduced a bill that essentially gave SpaceX authority to close the beaches during the week and only authorizes Cameron County to close the beach on the weekends. Can you see what we're going at? Elon Musk at one point was restricted to a certain amount of hours. And imagine a rich man being told what to do. What? You're going to tell me what to do? I see. Okay. So what did he do? He pretty much went up to the doorsteps of of our representatives in Austin and said, "Hey, this needs to change as soon as possible." And what do you think they said? Yes, sir. What language would you like for it to read? Because Elon Musk has been very outspoken. If we look at the dynamics of politics, U.S. politics, he's openly stated any Democrat that is against President Trump's agenda, I'm gonna be rooting against him, and I'm going to be funding someone who is aligned with President Trump's policies, administration. So now Elon Musk is getting the whole enchilada. He's getting his own city, and he is losing the grip that Cameron County once had. And someone said, well, it's only during the week. But again, give someone an inch, they take a mile. If at the beginning they only give them the week for SpaceX to decide, what do you think eventually is going to happen? They're going to introduce a bill that gives autonomous or free reign to SpaceX to close the beaches whenever they want. The biggest question is, can they confirm the actual residence? When I look up one of the candidates, it had them with primary address outside of the valley, Nopos Wow. Maybe the information, when we talked about SpaceX and Starbase, we did talk about the mayor and the two commissioners. The mayor has risen through the ranks. I think he is a UT grad, or he did his graduate research at UT. Started off at SpaceX back in 2012, 2013, since its inception, and he's risen up the ranks. Now I think he's some leader in some division. The two commissioners, one of them, if not both of them, are engineers. Again, they're the only ones that are able to decide whether they incorporate themselves. Are they going to vote for that? Heck yeah. Again, it's only 200 to 400 people that I'm guesstimating. It could probably be in the middle that are eligible to vote. But what have we seen from this? This is the results for the city of Starbase, the early voting numbers. Down here, I'm gonna zoom in. Down here is the hub. The hub is also known as Starbase. On day one, Monday, 47 people went out to vote for the city of Starbase incorporation election. Yesterday, 16 people went out to vote. We saw a dip. But remember, again, I still haven't asked the question. How many votes do they need to get? Is it they just need to get one vote, 2 votes, 3 votes, and they're good? That's one thing that I haven't asked. Is it just by us, or does a certain percentage of the population have to come out and vote in order for it to pass? I don't believe so. I think it's just a few, and then the Cameron County Commissioners Courts, they certify the election results, and then ultimately, I think, incorporate the city. And then they're going to have to do their own work on their own structure of setting up laws, but that, again, with money, anything is possible. But again, 63 people have gone out to vote. It seems like a large number if you're considering, let's say, 200 people come out to vote. That's at least 20% on day one if it's 200 people. So that's, I guess, a good turnout for them, because based on guesstimates, there's anywhere from 200 to 400 people. I don't know. Day one, I calculated as, if they have 200 people, as 20%. If they have 300 people, it's probably less. Rancho Viejo, no one is voting. These results, these are just for city of Starbase, Elizabeth. Right now we're going to go over the city and the venue very quickly. But again, the only individuals that are able to vote in the city of Starbase Incorporation is Boca Chica Village. How many people live out there? Jackson, I'm guesstimating that there's anywhere from 200 to 400 people that live on Boca Chica Village. Now, if we talk about workers as a whole, there's probably 3,000 to 4,000 that come and go. But that actually live there and are eligible to vote, I'm guesstimating 200 to 400 people at most. Out of that bunch, I think they got a decent turnout for day one. Again, they got 47. That's a good percentage, to have. It's only a matter of time, ladies and gentlemen. But SpaceX and Elon Musk is going to get whatever he wants. There's someone that asked me, what can be done about this? Nothing. You can call your representatives. You can 2 to 4, but is it their full-time residents? I'd be curious to see the numbers. Well, again, in order for a community to be incorporated, they have to get signatures. They have to file a petition with the county. And I believe they met the guidelines. I think it was 250. They have to raise 250 votes, if I'm not mistaken. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, chat. But that was my understanding. They needed to sign a petition. They needed to get signatures. They need to reach a certain amount of votes, which I think is 250, in order for the county to entertain it and put it on the ballot the way we see. Starbase is going to be incorporated. Brownsville will not be associated anymore with SpaceX, unfortunately. Elon Musk himself has made the distinction, and he clearly has said SpaceX is in Starbase way before, not even recognizing the city of Brownsville, which is kind of it's a hard pill to swallow. Now, the city elections. Again, we have 200,000 registered voters, possibly more. In previous elections, we have seen how 8 to 10% came out to vote. Is this good or bad for Brownsville? The incorporation of Starbase, depending on how you look at it, Elizabeth, could be good, could be bad. Mayor Cowan addressed in the State of the City address, he stated that the city of Brownsville was able to benefit from SpaceX in the sum of $100 million because of tourism. That's a positive for Brownsville. In this city elections, we need someone to market Brownsville as much as possible. We need to market Brownsville to the world. SpaceX is in our backyard. And we have been seeing how people from South Africa, United Kingdom, Europe, South America, they're coming for rocket launches. So what's the bad thing? Well, we're going to lose eventually gentrification for the people at Boca Chica Village. Our property taxes are definitely going to skyrocket even more with all the development that's being promised. They're doing a Rio West, which is a entertainment restaurant plaza. Jackson says that Starbase is going to be the next South Padre. Imagine. I always wondered, why didn't nobody build the restaurants or like a Claims on Boca Chica Beach? I know it's not feasible probably, but maybe now they will. Maybe now they'll build something that overlooks the water, possibly. Someone that works at SpaceX said they were told they were going to be able to vote even though they have a Brownsville address and information. How is that possible? That's a good question. Garza. I was under the impression that the only individuals that could vote were the residents, not the workers. You had to be part of the community. You had to make your residence be known there. Could possibly, how Rodriguez says, that somebody had an address outside of the valley. Again, many of these people are from California. Maybe these people are from Austin. Maybe these people are from the outside. It's no shock to me for them to say, "Oh, well, I lived in such and such place." But my understanding, Garza, my understanding was that only the residents, those that signed the petition to incorporate themselves as its own community, those are the only ones. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Those are the only ones that are allowed to vote. No one thought Starbase was feasible. Maybe it's us being narrow-minded. Who would have thunk that Brownsville would have the world's richest man one day, where we would be launching rockets, Boca Chica to Mars? We would never suspect that. Not in a million years. But what have we seen for it to come true? We've all been fortunate to feel the thunder of the rockets. This is something that is unheard of. It's like NASA in our backyard, essentially what it is. So you're right, Jackson. No one really thought that Starbase was going to get off the ground. Many people doubted. What? You're going to send a rocket and then you're going to catch the rocket coming down? What? No, I don't think so. Boca Chica to Mars seems like a farce. But it has been somewhat feasible. The city of Brownsville elections. We saw the first day 700 people come out to vote. The large, highly trafficked areas, of course, were the Brownsville Public Library. Saw close to 500 voters come out. After that was the Good Shepherd Community Church. Yesterday, Wednesday, we saw 665 early voters go out to the polls. A slight dip. Oh, I'm sorry. You can't see the numbers. Let me take off a slight dip in numbers. But nonetheless, somewhat consistent. Southmost Public Library as well. People that voted at the hub voted for City of Brownsville elections. People in Rancho Viejo voted for City of Brownsville elections. Primera, the main judicial building, saw a good amount of voters. Buenos días desde Atlanta, Georgia. Buenos días, Chelsea. Gracias por estar aquí entre nosotros. Gracias por el cariño y el amor que nos das. Casi todos los shows. Agradecidos estamos con su tiempo. Esperamos que tenga un lindo día. Muchas gracias, Chelsea. Again, what does this lead us to believe? People aren't coming out to vote. Should we see an increase in voters? Is this something that where people were coming off the holidays, getting back to reality? It takes a while. How do the candidates feel? Are they worried? Are they seeing these numbers of 700 and 665 and saying, uh-oh, every vote counts. My number that I need to hit is 3,000 to be competitive. Should the candidates be worried? Is this something to where they're scrambling and working even harder? Got to work the phones more. We got to go through the list and make sure the people that said they were going to go out to vote for me, have they voted already? Let me contact that person. Hey, ¿cómo está? I see that you haven't gone to vote. Candidates are actively working and making sure that they reach their base and their supporters. Because again, 665, are we going to see a dip throughout the week? Where it started at 700, and then the closer it gets to the weekend, we're not going to get a lot of voters in? Or do we anticipate the voters coming out in droves, in masses on the weekend. Again, there are people that prefer to wait until election day. That's just the way people are. They like to experience it. They like to wait in line longer past 7. But the city of Brownsville did see a slight dip in the city commission races from 700 to 665. In District 4, we have Michael Rodriguez. He is an entrepreneur, business owner who is promising to be a champion for small business owners. He stressed the fact that when he opened up shop, it took him a long time to get the permits. And what happens whenever these business owners are not able to open up their doors? They're losing money. They start losing confidence in the administration. And we've all heard of individuals that were not able to open up a business in Brownsville. And what did they do? They packed up and they moved to Hidalgo County, where, according to many, their process in regards to permitting, getting businesses off the ground, is a lot better than the city of Brownsville. Michael Rodriguez in District 4 has promised to perfect that process. He wants development in his district. He wants to be creating a small business task force to address the needs of all businesses as a whole and not just focus on downtown. That is what he is promising. He talked about safety and crime and how the city of Brownsville is not getting any better in regards to these issues. Do you feel safe? Did you know that robberies and murders have gone up as of late? They doubled, according to Mr. Rodriguez and his statistics. Are we failing with this current leadership? Do we need change? Michael Rodriguez seems to think so. We have Daisy Zamora in District 4, who is being backed by Mayor John Cowan and soon to be former Commissioner Gowan. Is Miss Daisy Zamora gonna be another doctor on the commission that is going to focus on health right now? Or I'm not sure if right now, but she had one time served at PUB. Can we trust an individual that was a part of PUB? The consensus of individuals out there, whenever you talk about PUB, Tenaska, the first thing they'll say, we were robbed. We were lied to. We were left to believe that we were being taxed for something that is going to benefit the city. But all we saw was mismanagement. The community was outraged when we learned of consultants, attorneys, billing millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, to ultimately come back to the city and say, oops, my bad. And the only thing PUB did was give us a credit. They put lipstick on the pig. They try to put a Band-Aid on the issue. Can we trust Daisy Zamora with District 4? Has she been your champion at PUB? Has she been asking those tough questions? I haven't heard her say anything. If you talk to the politicos, they'll say, well, Tenaska, PUB, get over it. You got a credit. Ya, ni modo. ¿Qué quieres? But when you talk to the people who were being billed and only received the credit of what, $30, $40, $50, people are pissed. I have not heard Miss Daisy Zamora say, I am a proud member of PUB. I'm going to be on the city commission and I'm a doctor. I'm going to focus on health and wellness and I'm going to make sure that we get to the bottom of PUB. The city wants that issue to go away because we don't want to talk about that. Come on, no. We heard Miss Daisy Zamora be a champion for the people of Brownsville. She currently sits on the PUB board. To me, that is very damning. We have Mr. Louis Tejerina, who is promising an HEB. Does District 4 deserve an HEB? He says about the expansion of that area and that development is going to, it's only a matter of time where District 4 receives their fair share of development, of growth. Louis Tejerina is promising for that and more in District 4. And we have the incumbent, Pedro Cardenas. Pedro Cardenas has campaigned on Highway 77. How for far too long the city has neglected that area. If you drive in it right now, it's horrible. Again, they anticipate for that road to be done in 2027. If I'm not mistaken, they're investing millions of dollars on that area. One thing that I want to stress is for the candidates of District 4, what are we going to do about Movies 10? Right next to Home Depot, right next to Lowe's, there's a plaza, there's development that's not being utilized. And it seems as if that's a common theme within the city. Our sports park being underutilized. District 4, I want District 4 to think big. What's going to happen with Movies 10? Are we able to capitalize on that? How can we be visionaries and say, what can we bring to Movies 10? It's highly trafficked. Very highly trafficked area. That is one thing that I want to pose to our candidates. What's your vision for growth? How can we bring businesses? How can we open up the plazas? How can we turn Movies 10 around? Martinez says Top Golf. Maybe we could need a Top Golf in West Brownsville. It's kind of difficult because if it would have been right off the expressway, maybe. Do we have an area right off the expressway that could be used for development? Maybe in northern Brownsville? Top Golf. It's good and far. It's centrally located in far. But that's a good idea. District 4. District 3. District 3, we have Corina Barraza, who has focused on her main agenda is making Brownsville stronger, according to her campaign. Ms. Barraza has been plagued by allegations. And I'm not here to belittle anybody. I'm not here to talk bad about anybody. My advice to each and every candidate and their campaigns is once you decide to run for an election, make sure you're prepared to bring your skeletons out of your closet. You need to be able to address issues, because if people think that the word is not going to get out that something happened to you, that you went through this, that this was a questionable response or a questionable dealing that you were a part of, you have to address it. I'm going to throw a curveball here to the community. I think Corina Barraza is going to be a shocker to many. I think she's going to make a runoff. There are many people, many pundits out there that are saying she's dead in the water because of the allegations that she's a killer, of fraud, but again, you cannot be placed, according to the city charter, you cannot be placed on the ballot if you have a misdemeanor or felony convictions. We saw that previously, how there was an individual that tried to do so and he was kicked out. Corina Barraza has not faced a similar fate. So it's fair to assume, again, what happens when you assume? I make an ass of you and me, right? But it's fair to assume that she doesn't have a conviction, that she was able to be on the ballot. But she didn't address the issues because, again, you have to nip it in the butt. Because if not, the story gets crazier and crazier and crazier. And you know the raza. Le echamos crema a los tacos. No, hombre, güey, que se la aventó. No. So by the time it starts to by the time it ends, that story got wind and people are saying, no. That's the only issue. Not even an issue. That's the only thing that I would advise candidates. Make sure you do some soul searching. Make sure you're able to address issues that you have. Because if you're not able to do so, if you only read behind a script, people will see through that. And we want somebody genuine. You know what? I did go through this. But hey, I'm a human being. I learned from this. I'm not going to let this thing that happened define who I am. Many people would probably say, you know what? Hey, maybe she was part of a domestic violence relationship. Maybe people could understand and try and relate to a candidate, because that's what we want, right? We want somebody that we can relate to moving forward. But this is the shocker that I'm going to dare say. She's going to be in a runoff. I think she could possibly get that sympathy vote from those women. She has people backing her up. Say what you want, but I anticipate Ms. Corina Barraza being in a runoff. Denise Chavez on paper has what it takes. She is very knowledgeable. She's educated. She serves on several boards and committees. There have been questions in regards to her relationships, her being part of certain groups. But at the end of the day, her platform is ethics, economics, and progress. I do expect Ms. Denise Chavez to be competitive in this race. Gustavo de Leon seems to be the favorite. Ever since he announced, he's been the favorite. Many people allude to the fact that this is one of the reasons why Commissioner De Los Santos ended up running for at-large. The De Leon name in the city of Brownsville comes from a prominent family. Mr. De Leon is a federal agent that has connections and relationships with the who's who of Brownsville. From the onset, De Leon has been the favorite. Everybody said De Leon's going to take it. Some are even saying that he's going to take it without a runoff. Is he that strong? Possibly. We have seen his campaign kind of take or address important pressing issues. But it'll be interesting. What would happen if Ms. Barraza or Chavez are able to get into a runoff with Mr. De Leon? Again, what has history shown us? That anything, just because you're in a runoff, just because you had the most votes, doesn't mean you're going to win in the runoff. So De Leon, again, many people anticipate De Leon winning outright. And if he does, more power to him. I anticipate every race to be a runoff. But many pundits are stating, no, De Leon is strong. He's going to take it without a runoff. Someone actually told me that. I bumped into an old friend. He's the one on Narcos, right? Very famous actor, great actor. People ask me, I look very different whenever I put on my contacts, whenever I let my beard grow, whenever I let my hair grow. So I got the nerd look today, but I've heard that before. Good morning. And the city at large race. The city at large race has been a very, very interesting race. We have Jason Moody, prominent family. His platform has been to take Brownsville to the new age of digital marketing. He wants to promote Brownsville to the world. His comprehensive strategic plan would allow Brownsville to focus on their pressing needs and be able to address them down the road. So we don't get to patch the streets. He wants things done in a timely manner. He wants to be able to have our city commission go back on and audit these projects, because there's only so much that we can do, right? But at the end of the day, we want our commissioners to not just sign off and give money and, oh, here we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this. No, but how is this going to look 10 years from now, 20 years from now? And Jason Moody is promising that he's going to market Brownsville. He's going to make sure that there is a strategic plan in place for the future. Because again, we expect our leaders to be visionaries. Think long term. Don't solve my problem today. Solve it forever. Don't just put a Band-Aid on this issue. Solve my problem. Jason Moody, city at large. We have Commissioner De Los Santos, who as of late has been receiving a lot of negative publicity. The FU, hallelujah, the FU heard around the world. Many people are saying, me included, that Commissioner De Los Santos ultimately lost the conservative vote. There are many people that are saying, yes, these people forgive him, but they're not going to vote for him. Many people have questioned, does Alejandro Garcia, who is being backed by 100 pastors in our city, does he have what it takes? Can he have the power to unite those churches? One thing that I've been screaming from the top of my lungs, or not screaming, but you know what I'm saying. If I was Alejandro Garcia, and he's been saying it as of late, I would have said, we need God back on the city commission. Vote for me. I may not be the most experienced. I may not be the most knowledgeable, but I am ethical, and I will always make every decision that I make will be in the best interest for the city of Brownsville, with God being my advisor. No, hombre, imagínate. Sas, 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 sas. That would have been cream. That would have been perfect. And we have Nudith Galansky, who is a powerhouse as well, just like Mr. Moody. Commissioner Galansky, former Commissioner Galansky, has the funds to compete with everybody. Melissa says, we need God in our country. That is something that I would have been saying from the beginning. My name is Alejandro Garcia. I am a God-fearing man, and we need God back into our city. I may not be experienced. I may not have all the information. I may not even understand the lingo, but I am honest. I am ethical, and I'm a God-fearing man. Vote for me. Nombre. That's what I would have done. De Leon has poor communication. Requested me on Facebook, then never responded to anything. It is what it looks like once elected. Again, being a public orator, being able to go in front of people is very difficult. Many people make fun of me and say, Frankie, tú lo que haces es fácil. Tú nomás le planes live y ya. No, it's very difficult. But then again, I'm very fortunate. Again, and I say this with all humility. I'm very fortunate to have a platform that I'm able to convey a message, information to the world. Whenever I stand before you every day, Monday to Friday at 9 a.m., make sure you tune in. I always think it's just me and the camera. It always gets me to chuckle when I look at my views and I'm like, damn, we're doing good. But speaking in front of people, having good communication skills is difficult. I have a stuttering problem. I had a stuttering problem at one time. I wasn't very good to speak. People have asked me, are you a communications major? Did you study journalism? No. I was fortunate to grow up in a church. My grandpa is a preacher for 40 years. And I was able to learn from him. And his message is, it doesn't matter if there's one person listening to you or hundreds of people listening to you. You give it to them. Just as excitement if you would have for 400 people listening to you, have that same excitement, that same enthusiasm as if it was only one. And that's what I do. I try my best just to say, hey, it's just me and the camera, and the world is watching. It's not easy to have communication skills. It's very difficult. Mr. De Leon was also going through personal issues that I don't want to address, but maybe that's the reason why he wasn't able to contact you, to respond to you in a timely manner. That's my take. How would it build that with marketing if the money from hot taxes is not going to be used for an arena? I commended Mr. Moody for marketing push. That's what we have to do, Rio Grande Council. That's what we have to do. We have to pitch Brownsville to the world. I don't see that from our city commission. I do see I apologize. I do see Mayor Cowan traveling to Monterrey and things like that, but there's more money out there. Again, people come. I watch podcasts. I don't watch the news no more. I read and I watch podcasts. I follow people from South Africa, from the UK, from Europe, from Madrid, and they talk about Brownsville. They talk about SpaceX. We haven't had an idea, a strategic plan to market Brownsville to the world. Have you heard it? Again, Brownsville is very unique. We're rich in our cultural history, a border city, international bridges. We got a port. We got the zoo. What else do we got? We have La Muralla. We have SpaceX. I don't see that vision from this current city council. I don't see it. Again, maybe they are promoting Brownsville to the world. Maybe they are trying to get us millions of dollars. But I want more. Jason Moody is experienced in this, knowledgeable in this. He could sell Brownsville to the world. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Again, we are day 3 today of early voting. Make plans to go out and vote. You have no excuse. I don't want nobody complaining. I don't want nobody. Nah, I'm going to ask you, did you vote or not? Because if you didn't vote, don't complain. Don't cry. We're doing our part. The candidates have done their part. They have worked tirelessly day in and day out, trying to convey their message, trying to make sure that there is no doubt in your mind that they are the best candidate for their respective races. Now it's our time to do our part. Our civil duty is to vote. We live in a democratic society. We have the luxury of freedom of religion, freedom of sexual preference, freedom of anything. Use it. If not, those men and women that served and died for us have ultimately died in vain. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Make sure you tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m., Facebook, YouTube, same Batman time, same Batman channel. And subscribe to YouTube, guys. Come on now. I'm at 310, 312. I want to be at 1,000 by the end of the year. I'm only as good as you let me be. And I'm very thankful for having each and every one of you. I'm having a blast doing this, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. Hope to see you here tomorrow. And happy Thirsty Thursday. Peace.